Okay, we're back. Welcome back to fantasy football. And as a first time fantasy player, we're going to go check back on our week prior, which was week 12, and do an analysis on the entire week. And then we're going to hop on to the next week, week 13, and set our lineups. So let's hop straight into this. Last week was a very interesting week for me. Even though I set my lineup one way on my video for the channel, we ended up having a completely different lineup by the end of the week because a lot of injuries and a lot of changes were made. Let's start back looking at week 12. Last week prior, we won all our games, which is amazing. Let's start with our first league. This is my main league, the NFC Lease. So let's hop in. We got winner. Look at that. Close game. We had Jayden Daniels pop off for a 32 bomb going against Goff. Goff, yeah. With 10 points. He really just Jared just hasn't had too many good games recently. He has a good one and he has a bad one. He's very inconsistent at the moment. Ever since week 7, look at this, just hasn't been too consistent here. But Jayden Daniels, I think in my video last week, I put Sam Darnold to start, who had 21 off the bench, which was really good because I was really upset with Daniels. And I really just didn't believe in him. He had 1, 2, 3 bad games in a row. You know, as a quarterback, 14 is not good as a quarterback. Like, you need him more with that. He's been struggling. But he went against Dallas. They don't even have a good defense. And they still lost. I don't know what happened. But he got 32. He had a running touchdown. Can I drag it sideways? I don't think they let me to. Oh, here we go. Russian. Yeah, 1 Russian touchdown, right? And he had 2 passing touchdowns, which is huge. And he had a 2-point conversion. I don't know. Daniels really brought it back this week. I might have to keep him starting in my lineup. I think he showed that he could come. He just had a rough few games and that was it. But we got to keep him in our lineup. Then I don't know what happened here with Pickens. It was a snowstorm. Right? What do you want him to do? How many targets did he have this game? 7. Usually what he usually averages. He just couldn't get yards. They couldn't play in the snow. He didn't have Russell Wilson. They put back the other guy. I forgot his name. So he didn't have the Russell Wilson connection this game. So he could not get any type of yards. He didn't make any runs. I'm going against Top Goff, aka Christian, in this league. He had Amon St. Brown, who had a low scoring game, 9 fantasy points, 62 yards. He had a lot of yards. He just didn't get any touchdown in this game. Don't really know what happened there for him. And he has a lingering knee problem. But he did better than Pickens in that matchup. We picked up last minute. I traded Bucky Irvin off my bench for Marvin Harrison Jr. So now we have an actual solid wide receiver. We have a top 100 wide receiver in my starting lineup as opposed to Jacoby over here, who had a nice game, but he's really too inconsistent to be a starter on my team. Harrison did not have a good game. Only 6 points. Not too bad. But it just happens every once in a while. But he has a great matchup, great schedule going forward. Going against Minnesota, Seattle, Patriots, the Cardinals, and then he got the Rams. I think he's going to be a nice fit for my starting lineup. Going against CeeDee Lamb, I traded away CeeDee Lamb for Alex Jones a long time ago, a few weeks back. Aaron Jones, excuse me. And Aaron Jones, we didn't start him this week. We'll probably start him next week. I didn't want to have to deal with CeeDee Lamb. This guy has questionable every week. He doesn't have Dak. I'm actually surprised he's getting a lot more targets now than before. Maybe they're just using the fact that he's a great wide receiver. I'm not too familiar on the new quarterback, but he's just gonna use CD for being CD. Dobbins got injured, got taken out of the game early, and still had seven fantasy points. So, Dobbins is definitely a monster. Dobbins been really good for me this season, even into horrible matchups like Cincinnati, Cleveland, Denver. He's still putting in the work and getting those points. Even though he has a rough schedule going forward for him, like I feel like he's still gonna be getting those numbers for us. He didn't get a single touchdown this last game, but he got taken out early because of the injury. They took him out. If he's still questionable, we're gonna throw in Aaron Jones in his slot. Obviously, this guy's Jonathan Taylor because I think he has a bye week for Cook. So, easily win that matchup right there. Rashad White for Tampa Bay. I kept White instead of Bucky because White usually gets more attempts, usually gets more yards. They only use Bucky for the touchdowns. But for some reason, against the Giants, they really gave it a Bucky. So Rashad White did not get much, many attempts, many touchdowns, or as many yards as he should have had. He did get a touchdown late in the game, which really helped his points, but I feel like he could have got more. They really just didn't play him well. They gave it to the RB3. I don't even know his name. They gave it to the RB3 for some reason. So I don't know what's going down in Tampa, but it's all right if Rashad White has a few bad games here and there. Even though this wasn't even a bad game, he still had 11. Because we still have Aaron Jones and we got Najee Harris at our bench. We have a lot of good running backs. Nick Chubb went off. Obviously, it was Cleveland, snowstorm. They thought they won a championship. So they obviously went off. He had 2 touchdowns. So not too big of a deal. It's not going to happen often. Brock Bowers, Brock Bowser. Oh no, let me give him a star. This guy's a monster. But he did not have a good game. Just rough matchup into Denver. 38 yards. Only 4 receptions. They were really playing him tight. He couldn't do much. Happens. Going forward, he has an amazing schedule against Kansas City, Tampa Bay, Atlanta, Jaguars, and New Orleans. This guy had McBride. Went off for 19 against Seattle. Yeah, not really expecting much. This 19 is 18 from Chubb and McBride. It just to make up for the lack of having a running back for him, the lack of his quarterback, and his next pick, Williams. He threw in Javonte Williams as a flex pick and only got 1 point. I don't even know why this guy has Javonte Williams, as this guy's not getting touches anymore, as they have their other guy. I think it's Edric, right? So he's not getting too many opportunities. I don't know why they still have him. Tyron Tracy, I'm surprised he only has 7 points. Like, not too bad, 7-7. But he could have had a touchdown, but the Giants really just blew that game out of the water. And they're really just trying to tank. They're not going to try to score, which kind of sucks for me because I need Tyron Tracy to actually get some points, as he's been amazing just throughout the season. Ever since week 5, he could pop off here and there if we need him to. And the Giants really do have, at least for the running backs, they do have a good matchup for the rest of the season. They do play Baltimore and Atlanta, but I think they can still make it work. My problem is they need to I don't know if the Giants are trying to tank or they really just suck that bad. So we need to just figure that out going forward. Then we got our kickers. Tucker came back a little with 7 points, because he's been having a rough season. He's been missing some field goals, but still looking like he's bringing in our points that we need. This guy had Bates. Bates for the line has been really good. He had 8 this game. And then my favorite pick, I switched out. Who did I have the last week? I don't remember who I picked up the last week. But I do remember that I picked up Denver because Denver is going to they've been playing way better defense and they have a great schedule until the bye week. After the bye week, I have to drop Denver and I'm going to pick up, I don't remember who I was going to pick up, but we're going to double check on that. He had Detroit, 7 points. Then my bench did pretty solid. Jacoby has 17 off the bench. Darnold had 21. Aaron Jones had 18. Najee Harris suffered from a snowstorm. And this guy had 2 on their side, having 28, which is really good. So that was that week. Let me check my other 2 fantasy leagues as a recap before we start doing our lineups. So we go into the next one. Suave J Super Team. This league I struggled a bit, but this team I would say I have a better overall team than my first league that I just showed you. Obviously, we still have the Jayden Daniels, 32. This guy has Kyler Murray. Did not have the best game, 11 points. We had Tyreek Hill, who only has 7 because he's questionable, and they were using a lot of Waddle that game. As Waddle had, I think, a 24 bomb, right? I don't think I have Waddle on this team. Waddle had a 24 bomb, so Tyreek Hill did not get many touches this game. Only 6 targets. I don't know if it's going to be like this going forward. I'm a little scared. We got to see what happens. This guy had Hopkins. Hopkins had 12. Hopkins been solid this season. For the Chiefs, nice pickup. Sutton. Obviously, Cortland Sutton is just a monster. You just picked him off for waivers early this season. He's going to have a bye week coming up. We got to prepare. But this guy's just going to bring in fantasy points like nothing. Double digits 5 weeks in a row. And this guy had 25. This guy Michael Pittman. I don't believe in Michael Pittman. I don't know why people pick him up. This guy had 12 fantasy points. Michael Pittman is just, I just don't see it. Maybe it's just a Colts thing. I just don't see the Michael Pittman. Somebody tried to trade him for me, but I don't want him. Kieran Williams, 11 points. He's been struggling, but he went against a Philadelphia defense, which is probably second, third best in the league, and got more points this week compared to his last 3 weeks, which is very interesting. And he got a touchdown on them. So I think he's coming back. I think he'll bring it back. He has an amazing schedule. Saints, Buffalo, 49ers, Jets, and Cardinals. If this guy doesn't go off, then I don't know. Only problem I see here is that Matthew Stafford is using Puka and Kupp more often because they're back now. So we got to see. He's going to get less touches, but I think he's still going to bring in some fantasy points. DeAndre Swift, we don't really care. That's the Bears. But the Bears have a new offensive coordinator, so this guy only has 8 points. Dobbins, like I mentioned before, only 7 points. We could sub him in. We could sub Tony Pollard in. So that's not a problem for this team. But he did lose his matchup against Jacobs because Josh Jacobs on Green Bay. Look at that, 28 points. This guy has really been going off. I have to be careful with him. Did not cost us anything, though, because the rest of his team really stunk it up. But Josh Jacobs is somebody we need to worry about going forward. Then we have Zach Ertz for the Washington Commanders. 8 targets, 6 receptions. He got a touchdown, which is huge. I think this was the late touchdown, late in the fourth quarter from what I remember. It was Zach Ertz against Cade Otton. They didn't really use him too much last game against the Giants. They just ran the ball. So that was great. And then we had Aaron Jones coming in with the 18. Aaron Jones is just a solid pick in this team. This guy, actually, if you look at it, he's been every other week, just like CeeDee Lamb, it's going to say questionable. Watch, later this week, it'll come up. Right next to his name is going to say questionable. But this guy plays through his injury all the time. His ribs, his legs, this guy plays through all the injuries. And it's been like this all season long. So 18 points has been his highest in the last 6 weeks, which is really good for him. James Conner on the other side did not have a great game for the Cardinals. That was great for us. We had Jason Sanders from Miami. Miami kicks a lot. So this was a nice pickup for me. 12 points. Kaimi Fairburn. This guy 11 points. This is Houston Texans. They tend to, kick a lot as well. Very helpful. And then, typical, we just throw Kansas City. It's a safe pick. We could pick another defense to get more. Maybe they have more sacks, hold them to less points. But this is more of a safer pick for now. And then this guy had the Giants defense. I don't know why would you ever do that. Our bench looked really nice. That guy has Sam Darnold on this team. Tony Pollard had 20. I have Matthew Stafford as a backup for week 14 for Daniel's bye week. Deontay Johnson. Yeah, and then the rest of he has CJ Stroud on his bench. We still have Pacheco. They say he's going to come back, right? Because he was supposed to come back this week 12. But they ended up saying no. So he's probably going to come back week 13. And then we're going to have to drop. That's going to be hard. I'm not sure if I drop Dobbins and I'll start him or we're going to have to see. Let me check my final league before we start doing some setting the lineups. This one was really close. 2-point win. Let's see what happened here. This one I have Bo Nix. He only had 19 compared to Justin Herbert, who has 17. A very close matchup. I expected Bo Nix to get more, but I'm surprised he still came through. Justin Herbert has been a monster last, 5 games. Justin Herbert has an amazing schedule left. Kansas City, Patriots, Tampa Bay, Atlanta. Chargers have really been scary as of late. This league, I have Cooper Kupp. It's just Cooper Kupp. What else? What else do you need? 16 points. This guy's among St. Rob Brown. Subpar game, only 9 points. I can't even say his name, but I'm going to call him Jennings. This was supposed to be my sleeper pick. I felt like he was going to go off this week. He did not get too many yards. Just a bad matchup. He has a bad schedule going forward. I'm going to have to drop him or just put somebody else in his place. This guy has Sutton going off for 25. That's scary right there. Bucky Irvin for 24. That was scary right there as well. We could have lost it. Kareem Hunt had 10 on this league for me. Not very good. Tony Pollard had 20. Still not very good compared to these two right here. Thank God his Najee Harris bombed it because of the snowstorm, so they had that. Then it's a Travis Kelce versus Pat. Obviously, it's Travis Kelce. Did not have a great game, but he had 9 points. I'll take the 9 points. Well, it's actually a good game. It's just not like superstar like he usually does, double digits. But I'll take the 9 points over anything. Is more than this guy's 7. McConkey came through with the 11 points right here. McConkey has been doing really well. And he's having some great matchups in the future. Double digits, you know. Double digits for McConkey is always a good thing for us. DeAndre Hopkins at 12. Obviously, we had Justin Tucker. Surprisingly, this guy left his kicker out on a bye week and did not pick up any kickers. No kickers for this guy. So this guy, McPherson, no bye week. And this guy -2 for San Francisco defense. I don't know why would you pick up San Francisco. Bench players. This league is gonna get interesting. We're gonna have to start switching out people. Jacoby, Darnold, Pacheco on IR coming back. We're gonna have to drop Kareem. Let's start setting these lineups. Fantasy football. Let's start setting these lineups week by week. Switch it to week 13. We're going against 115 charges. How do you set lineup Breezy B football? Here we go. I do have a pending transaction to drop Ricky Pearsall to pick up a tight end, Noah Gray. I just need a tight end because I only have Brock Bowers, and if he gets injured, I'm done. Let me click start active players. Boom, it starts it. This week, I'm gonna keep Jayden Daniels at the starting. I trust him to keep it going. I trust him to keep his hot start, his hot streak. I trust him. Jayden, if you please prove me right, because if I'm wrong, Sam Darnold's going to have to take your starting position for the rest of this league. Pickens going to come back. He has a decent matchup, 13th for wide receivers against Cincinnati. You got to keep Pickens. He's one of the top 5 wide receivers in the league. We're going to keep Marvin Harrison. Dobbins is questionable. What I'm going to do just for the video is I'm going to put Aaron Jones for Dobbins. But if Dobbins happens to get healthy, then last second I'll sub in Dobbins for Aaron Jones. Right? Because I'm not sure yet. But we'll keep it. But Aaron Jones has a good matchup against Arizona. I think he's going to be able to run the ball well. Rashad White's going to stay because of Rashad White. And Tampa has a beautiful schedule going against Arizona twice and Dallas and the Raiders. Brock Bowers. I don't know if I want to keep Tracy. We'll see. Maybe I switch out Tracy. Because if the Giants are playing not to win, then I really don't want Tyron Tracy on my team. You know, if they're trying to tank, then I don't want them on my team because I need points. And you know what? If Dobbins happens to get back, right? You know what I'm gonna do? I'll put Dobbins, and then I'm gonna take Aaron Jones and put him in for Tyron Tracy. That's what we'll do, right? That's what we'll do. I think we'll leave it like that. It says to put Aaron Jones over Rashad White, but I'd rather just put Aaron Jones here. Since the Giants are not really playing to score anymore, for what it seems like, I'm going to keep Tyron Tracy on my bench. I think that looks like a solid lineup for now. I'll change it throughout the week like I always do, but this is just for the video purposes. You guys could get a rough estimate of what I'm doing. Jayden Daniels, Pickens, Harrison, Dobbins, White, Bowers, and Aaron Jones. Now we're going to go on to our next league. If we go back, our second football league, right here, we're going to click this one. Breezy B Football, his star active players. I think we're going to keep Jayden Daniels right here. Then I'm going to have to keep Tyreek Hill for now. I don't really believe Waddle is. Let me see. Did anybody pick up Waddle? Nobody picked him up. He's on waivers. I'm going to pick up Waddle. Who can I drop? I'm going to drop Pearsall, right? There we go. I'm going to put a waiver in for this. I'm going to pick up Waddle just so I have him. Drop Pearsall just so I have it. I'm so surprised nobody even put in a waiver for him. Let me go back to my team. Just in case Tyree gets injured, we're going to throw in Waddle because Waddle had 24 points last game. Cortland Sutton is going to stay because it's Cortland. He's been a monster. Kieran Williams stays at running back. Dobbins stays until he get that injured tag. And if not, then I'll throw in Tony Pollard in. Right. I think Zach Ertz stays as well. He's going to stay with Jayden Daniels. Ferguson has a concussion. Doesn't seem like he'll be back. I think that's going to be our lineup for this week. Then we're going to come back here. Fantasy football. Do our last week. All right. Breezy B football. Let's see. Start active players. All right. Now we're going to start. We have keep Bo Nix. Bo Nix is playing Cleveland. Is it going to snow again? If it's... Oh, I got to check the weather. Is there a way I could check the weather? I don't think there's a way I could check the weather for now. I will have to check that on my phone. I don't think it lets me do it over this. So we're going to keep Bo Nix for now. Sam Darnold has maybe later this week. By Sunday, I have to decide if I want to put Sam Darnold as a starter. I might switch them because I don't know if Bo Nix is going to play well in Cleveland because as we've seen, Cleveland had a snowstorm before. Don't know if it's going to happen again, but just in case, due to the weather, I might throw in Sam Darnold because he's playing in the dome too. Cooper Kupp, you got to stay. Jennings, check this out. Let's go to add player, right? Let's go to wide receivers, right? Jalen Waddle is here. Let me see if I can pick him up for Jennings. Should I do for Jennings? Yeah, I'll do for Jennings. We'll do this one. You know what? No. Keep Jennings. We'll do Waddle for Johnston. That's what we'll do. Waddle for Johnston. So what's going to happen here is I'm going to come back. Okay. Right. I'm going to put McConkey for Jennings. Right. Kareem. Once Pacheco gets cleared, we're going to put Pacheco in for Kareem and just drop Kareem or something. Probably drop Javonte Williams so I have space. Tony Pollard is going to stay as RB. Travis Kelce, tight end. For now, I'm going to keep Jacoby as flex. If I get Waddle, then I'm going to take Waddle and put him as flex instead of Jacoby. But for now, I'm going to keep him like this. And this is going to be our lineup that we have. I got to check defenses. I know I have Kansas. I'll keep Kansas for now. If I don't get... Let me put a second waiver just in case I don't get Waddle. Let me see. Romeo Doubs, Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy is very good. I'll put him in for Johnston. Right. I'll put him in for Johnston just in case I get just in case they don't give me Waddle. I want Waddle first. If not, I'll take Jeudy. So that's going to be our lineups for week 13. Let me check the matchup. Projected 104. Hold on, I could just check it right here. All right, week 13. It's going to be interesting. All right, go back. This is really the best I could do. Week 13, we're projected to win NFC least. We're projected to win a second league. However, at third league, this guy is 5-0. This is the first place guy in this league. We're projected to lose, but we got to see what really happens. I'm the underdog. But that was week 12 analysis, and we set our lineups for week 13. I'm Breezy B. Thank you for watching, and I'm out.